Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name's Claire and this is Yoli. I make videos all about houseplant care, sharing tips and tricks I've learned over the years to help keep your plants happy and healthy. And in today's video, I thought I'd show you my top 10 favourite houseplants this month. It's not to say that I don't love my other ones, and it was very hard to pick just 10 for this video. In fact, I haven't picked just 10 for this video. I've picked 11 because I'm ridiculously indecisive and I couldn't just settle on 10. So yeah, these are just my top 11 houseplants that have been bringing me a lot of joy this month, and I wanted to show you and share with you. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. So this is in no particular order, but the first one that I am absolutely loving right now is my Peperomia Sarcophyla. I still can't quite believe that it's a peperomia. Like, it's so different. It's so different from any other plants in my collection. It's kind of got Anthurium vibes, but it is just unbelievably different to any peperomia that I've got. And I just think it's so, so, so beautiful. And I got this one, how long ago was it? I got it from Hutch Houseplants, which I think was probably about a month and a half ago. And I don't know why, I kind of got the impression it was going to be quite slow growing, because you can see it's got those really kind of thick, robust leaves that, if they are anything like anthuriums, sometimes take quite a long time to grow. But as you can see in here, it's actually giving me quite a lot of new growth now. And I'm just amazed by this plant. It's like a weird alien plant, and I just think it's so, so, so beautiful. And I feel really lucky to have it because it's not a plant that you tend to see every day. I don't think it's particularly rare. It wasn't that expensive, but it's just not one that you come across a lot. So I'm very, very excited about this. I did actually lose a leaf when I first got it. One of the leaves got knocked off when I was traveling home, and I was so sad about it, but I've popped it into my prop box and I'm really hoping it's going to do something. So yeah, if it does, I will probably pot it back in the same pot, to be honest. I would love to kind of get a massive one of these going, but yeah, that's definitely one that I'm checking on a lot, is bringing me all the joy, and I feel very, very, very lucky to have. And then the next one, this one's maybe not like the most exciting one to some of you, but it's one that I wanted for such a long time, and I got in the plant swap with Emma. This is a Philodendron painted lady, and she's so small at the moment, but she is giving me a new leaf. Like, in the time that I've had her, that leaf has just popped up and is now starting to unfurl. And I've wanted this plant for absolutely ages, and I don't know why I've never got one. But when Emma, I'll put the clip in, but when Emma first gave me this plant, I was just completely in awe. Oh my God, is this a Philodendron painted lady? And I don't know yet whether or not it's going to be a particularly fast grower. If it's anything like my other philodendrons, then I feel like it probably will be. But oh my goodness, when they get big and mature, they just look so beautiful. And the leaves, you can see with my shaky hands, the leaves are just so gorgeous. That kind of subtle, splashy variegation, it just makes me so happy. That leaf, like, look at that leaf. It's so pretty. God, whenever I've had a coffee, I'm like, oh, and it's probably not the best time to do a show and tell, but we're doing it anyway. But yeah, I'm very, very, very in awe of that plant at the moment, and I have got it in my cabinet. I am just like willing it to grow, and it seems happy so far. So hopefully in a few months' time, I will have some very exciting updates on that one. And the next plant, this was one of my arid market imports. This is the Philodendron Code 69686, I'm pretty sure. And I just love it. I mean, it's given me a few new leaves in the time that I've had it. That's its most recent one. And the more it grows, I'm so amazed with it. I think the shape of its leaves are just so unusual. It just, again, doesn't quite look real. It's very different to anything else I've got in my collection. And funnily enough, the only thing kind of structurally, shape-wise, that it's similar to is my Philodendron Scormiferum. And that's a plant that I've said before I don't know what it is about it. Like, I don't get on that well with that plant. It's never one that particularly grabs me. I feel lucky to have it because I know it's a plant that a lot of people really want, but I have actually given away some cuttings of it recently because I feel like it's going to bring other people more joy than it is me at the moment. But yeah, there's something very different about the code 69686. I think it's just the most beautiful plant. And I saw a picture that Johnny, who's the bearded plantaholic on Instagram, posted of his a few weeks ago, and oh my goodness, the size of the leaves on his are like that. And considering I haven't had mine that long and it's still relatively young, I'm really hoping if I can get it on a pole soon, which is on my to-do list, that it should hopefully start giving me some lovely mature growth. And yeah, it has got a new leaf coming there as well. And again, from what I know about this plant so far, it does seem to be fairly fast growing. It's given me, I think, 2 or 3 leaves in the time that I've had it, but it's just so cool. I just love it so much. And then the next one is another one that I got in my Arid Market import, but oh my God, I'm still just so in awe of this plant and can't quite believe that I have it. This is my variegated Monstera Adansonii Indonesian Indonesian variegated Monstera Adansonii that, as I say, I got from Arid Market. And this had been a plant that I had been, oh my goodness, like looking at for such a long time. And I don't know why, just like never really thought it would be that attainable, just because, I mean, they used to go for so much money. I know they are getting a little bit cheaper, but I mean, I remember even this time last year looking at eBay and seeing cuttings going for kind of like $1,000 or something like that. It was just crazy. And I love the regular Adansonii, but I just think the variegation on this one is so kind of subtle, but it's got loads of beautiful greeny tones in there, and it's kind of like minty as well on some of the leaves. I don't know if you can really tell, like that leaf there. And it's just absolutely incredible. I love this plant so much. And literally in the last few days, I've got it on a moss pole. And in the time that I have, it's actually started giving me a new leaf. So if it could keep growing the way that it's growing at the moment, speed-wise, because oh my goodness, it is so quick, and also start giving me some lovely big mature growth, I would be so happy. So yeah, again, like I know I'm just saying I love all my plants because I always say that, I know, but I really do adore this plant. I check up on it literally every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, and I'm just really fortunate to have it in my collection. It's one that I was going to say would definitely not take for granted. I definitely wouldn't, because as I say, I've wanted it for so long and still can't quite believe that I've got it. So yes, this is like top favorite at the moment, I would say. Or maybe it's not top. I would say all of these are going to be top favorites. But a more common one that is bringing me so much joy is my Aglaonema Silva. I always want to call it a Silver Bay. I was sold this as a Silver Bay. It's actually a Silver Queen, I think. And this plant is so cheap to buy. It grows so quickly and it's just so unbelievably beautiful. I love it so much. And if you were to look at this plant, I mean, I personally I'm not that bothered about whether a plant is kind of rare or if it's a common plant or anything like that. But this one brings me just as much joy as some of the ones that are rarer in my collection. And I personally think it looks like quite a rare plant. It's so unusual and it's so kind of minty and almost, I mean, it's not bluey. I wouldn't consider it to be a bluey plant, but it's just a very different shade of green to a lot of the other ones in my collection. And I just think it's stunning. I just think it's so gorgeous. And I've seen these ones as quite mature plants. And although mine, it's growing well and it is fairly big, I'm really hoping again at some point that it will just get absolutely huge. I'm keeping it as a floor plant at the moment because it seems fairly robust. It has been whacked by the tail a few times, which is something I've always got to take into consideration when I'm finding places for my plants. It has been whacked by the tail quite a few times and it's survived. It hasn't, touched wood, broken any leaves or anything like that. So I quite like it as a floor plant because, as you can see, like from the side, it maybe doesn't look that exciting, but when you see it from above, it just looks gorgeous. So having it down on the floor, I walk past it and I'm like, ah, you're gorgeous. So yeah, that is that one. And then this one's one that I haven't spoken that much about, I don't think, on my channel, but this is my Anthurium Crystalline. And I mean, I love velvet leaf anthuriums anyway. Like, if you watch my other videos, you'll know I've got like 3 clarinerviums and I think they're just such beautiful plants. But this one, it's got a slightly different form. Like, its veination is slightly different to my clarinerviums. And I just think it's the most beautiful plant in the world. I really do. I love the length of its leaves, and it's just so dramatic and unusual, and it's just beautiful. As you can see here, this leaf got a little bit damaged, and that's totally my own fault. I know I'm always saying don't help leaves if they're unfurling, if they don't need help. And this one didn't really need help, but I got too impatient and too excited, and I was like, oh, it's giving me a new leaf, and I had to jump in there and try and help, and it ripped. So yeah, that one's a little bit damaged. To be honest, it doesn't bother me that much. Like, you can still get the effect of the plant, you know what I mean? You can still get the lovely kind of dramaticness of the plant, even with a damaged leaf. But this one here, this is the most recent leaf. I tried so hard not to help, and I did very well. And as you can see, it's literally perfect, and it's still growing as well. This one hasn't hardened up yet, so I think it's probably going to get quite big, and it's definitely not a super fast growing plant. Like, I don't think any of my clarinerviums, any of my velvet leaf anthuriums are particularly fast. They do kind of conserve their energy, and then come growing season tend to give you a little burst of leaves. But this one, yeah, it's doing good things for me, even if it's not the fastest. And I think sometimes as well, when you have a plant that is a little bit more slow growing, when it does give you a new leaf or any kind of new growth, it just makes you so much more excited than maybe it would if it was giving you leaves all the time. So yeah, I'm really loving that one. And then another one that's, I mean, really common, but I've spoken about a few times in videos recently now. I'm really loving this one. It's my Peperomia Hope. And this one, so this was the one I first included in my baby plants tour, and I'd only had it about a month at that point, and it was in like a 5 centimeter pot, and it was teeny tiny. And in the time that I've had it, it's given me an unbelievable amount of growth. And as you can see there at the top, it's got loads more just kind of waiting to tumble out of the pot. And I just think it's so unusual, and I love how like perfect those little leaves are. They're like little buttons, and I think it's just so gorgeous. I've had a couple of you actually send me pictures, because I know I've been banging on about this plant a lot. A couple of you have sent me pictures of your Peperomia Hopes, and one of you, I can't remember exactly who it was, but one of you sent me one, and literally it was probably the height of me, and I was just like, oh my God, if mine can get to that level one day, I would be over the moon. So yeah, she's growing really well for me right now. Again, kind of similar to the Sarcophyla that I showed you at first. It doesn't really, for me, behave in the same way as a lot of my other Peperomia. I almost treat this one more like a Hoya, and I've said that before as well. I think because it's got those kind of succulent waxy leaves, I think it looks quite Hoya-ish, and it behaves quite like a Hoya. So yeah, I know some of my other Peperomia, I'll kind of make sure that they're evenly moist. And thank you. I think somebody's at the door. 1 second. That was just Yoli's flea treatment arriving. Very exciting. Can't remember where I was with this plant now, but yeah, I just think it's absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. I think it's just such a pretty plant, and yeah, I'm really excited to watch it grow. I just really like it. I really love it. And I know in one of my repotting chats recently, someone was asking about plants that I'd saved from a burning building. And I think when it comes to being decisive with plants that I'm really loving at the moment, and I definitely thought of that for this video, I was like, that's a really good way to think of it, because otherwise I just would be showing you all of them. But this is definitely one that I would save from a burning building. And then the next one, this is, again, a relatively new addition. I got this one at Hutch as well. This is my Monstera Dubia, and oh my God, it's just been the quickest grower. I know I'm saying that about loads of these plants, but this one has just been really fast, and I don't know why I thought it would be a bit slower. Like, I think maybe because you don't see big mature ones very often, I kind of assumed that it would be quite slow. But as you can see, it's already, since I put it on the new plank, it's given me these 3 main leaves, but then behind that, it's got a whole other stem that's branched out, and it's got new leaves coming behind it there as well. So I'm not entirely sure what to do about that, to be honest. I don't know if I just let it continue to climb up the same plank. What would you do? Or if you've got a dubia, or even if you haven't, what would you do? Would you separate it? Would you propagate this section and get a new one going? Or would you just let the 2 continue to climb? Because I'm not quite sure. I kind of feel like the plant underneath isn't going to be getting as much light, and they might kind of push each other off the plank. I don't know if that's a thing, but yeah, it's a beautiful plant. It's got those beautiful bluey silvery leaves, and I just think they're so gorgeous. They're almost like turtlebacks or something like that. I know it's a weird analogy to use, but they're just like, the pattern of the leaves is just absolutely stunning. And I'm spraying its plank every single day, like misting the plank to make sure that the new aerial roots can kind of attach to it properly. And it's doing really well. It is gripping on really nicely now, and it is climbing, because that's a concern I had when I first put this plant on a new plank, because I'd never done it before. And I know that some people were saying just to extend the original plank, and I gave it a brand new plank, which meant taking it off its old one. And I was like, oh God, what have I messed this plant up? What have I ruined this beautiful plant that I've wanted for so long? But it does seem to be happy, and it does seem to be gripping on well now. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with that one. Really excited about it. Thinking that I will probably have to do a new plank really quite soon if it keeps going at this rate, but I think I'm probably gonna just extend the plank that it's on. This is actually a piece of wood from my mum's shed. They knocked down their shed and they had loads of wood like this, so I think it would probably be fairly easy to extend. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about, would you divide those two sections or would you just let them keep growing? Because I would be very interested to know. And then this one, I felt like I just had to include it because I haven't spoken that much about it. It's my Calathea Orbifolia, and I do think, yeah, I can see roots coming out to the bottom there. I do think this one is probably in need of a repot, because as you can see, the growth she's giving me now is really big, really mature, really beautiful. But I think in order to kind of sustain that and allow her to grow as full as possible, I do probably need to repot her fairly soon. So I'm quite excited to do that. I love repotting Calatheas. I think because in the past I've really struggled with Calatheas. Now when they get to the stage that I'm like, oh, they're actually growing really well for me and needing things done to them, like repotting, I get a bit too excited. So I think I'm probably going to include this one in one of my repot and chat videos in the next few days. But I just think, I mean, I do love Calatheas. I know they've got such a bad rep and they can be really difficult, dramatic plants, but I think this one is just so beautiful. And look at that gorgeous new leaf there. I also just love with these plants how their leaves will come in, like you can kind of see that one there. They look like little trumpety leaves. They kind of pop up and then just kind of unfurl really beautifully and produce such gorgeous foliage. Like this for me is just like jungle foliage all over. I feel like if I imagine like the most beautiful jungle in the world, looking down at the floor, I feel like there would just be Calatheas everywhere, because they're just such magical plants and so exotic, and obviously they're kind of not like anything that you would see just in the wild here in the UK. And I think that's definitely part of the attraction. I do love tropical plants so much. They give me such a happy vibe. I don't know if that's what I'm really trying to say, but they give me such a, I don't know, yeah, happy vibe, and they just make a house look beautiful, and I just think they're stunning. So yeah, I'm super happy with how this one's growing. I'm really glad that she seems happy in the conditions I've got her in. I actually don't keep this plant in this room. This is one of the ones that I keep downstairs in my bedroom, because this room is just too bright for her. Although this side doesn't really get much direct sunlight, she just can't cope. Like the times that I've brought her through here to water her, if I accidentally leave her in here for a little bit longer than kind of 45 minutes or so and it's midday, all of her leaves just curl up and she doesn't look happy at all. So she seems happy downstairs, and that's where she's staying for now. And then the official number 10, although as I say, there is a bonus plant, is my Alocasia Frydeck. And oh, it's kind of hard to get her and me in because she's got so big, and she's also, as you can see, got this beautiful big leaf unfurling here at the moment. And I think she's such a beautiful dramatic plant. She really doesn't look real. Like I gave one of my friends a little Alocasia Frydeck a different plant, like one of my smaller ones, the other day when she came round, and she was like, oh my goodness, she was like, it doesn't look like a real plant. And I was like, I know, it's amazing. So yeah, this one, as you can see, is growing really well for me, but it's got so many bulbs in the soil that I actually think, I've been thinking about it for a while, but I think I'm probably going to divide from the mother plants just so that I can have one big plant in this pot, and then I can get lots of lovely babies going. So again, probably in the same video as my Calathea, I'm gonna do that. I don't know. I mean, it kind of makes me sad to divide her because I love how full she is, but at the same time, I'm watering this plant every other day at the moment, and I mean thorough soak through, because she dries out so quickly. And I think that's just because she's essentially supporting about 5 or 6 plants in the same pot, and I think if I really want to achieve bigger, more mature growth, like even more so than it is at the moment, I think dividing her is probably going to be the best option. So stay tuned for that. I will be doing that, as I say, in the next day or two. But yeah, I mean, just look at that leaf. It's just so gorgeous. And I love how velvety they are as well. They're just, oh, they're just beautiful. I really do adore that plant. And I would say she's probably, I mean, yes, favorite of the month, but right now I would say favorite, one of my favorites in my collection. And then lastly, this is bonus plant number 11. This is my Begonia albopicta, which, I mean, I'm not particularly a begonia person, controversial, I know, but I have just never really got on that well with begonias, and they've never really grabbed me. Like, I have had begonias in the past and I've ended up getting rid of them or swapping them or selling them. And this one, I absolutely love her. I think the little polka dots on her leaves are beautiful. And the thing that I really love as well is that at the tips of all the leaves, they've got that little kind of silver splash, like they've just been dipped in paint or something. And I just think she's gorgeous. I really love her. And as you can see, she's also blooming at the moment. She was blooming majorly when I got back from my trip away recently. And in the end, I did decide to chop her blooms back. They were, although they were really beautiful, they were falling off everywhere and I was cleaning them up all the time. And also I was just like, seeing as it's growing season, if I cut back some of her blooms, then hopefully she'll be able to pump it into some nice new growth, which she absolutely has done. She's growing so well for me, and I really do need to stake her properly, because at the moment she's just on a pathetic little stake that I found in my garden, and you can see she's really growing off it and kind of tilting to one side now. So yeah, I think maybe I'll get like a nice trellis for her or something. What do you reckon? What would you do? I don't really know how people stake begonias, to be honest. It's been so long since I did it. But yeah, I'd love to kind of get her a little bit more upright, because she's actually really quite a big plant. Like if I stand her up like that, she does go up quite a long way, and I know that I'm not offering her the support that she needs right now. But yeah, I think those are, as I say, I could have included so many more in this video. I at first was like, okay, I'll do a top 10, and then I put like 20 plants on the table, and I was like, okay, I think that's going to be a very long video if I do that. And I'd like to maybe keep up these favorites of the month video, because they're really fun to film. I really enjoy sharing the plants that I'm loving at the moment, and I could chat about plants all day. So yeah, those are the ones that I would say, if I had to say, gun to my head, those are the ones that have brought me the most joy this month. Oh, I've got some others that have as well, but those are the ones that, if I had to say, have brought me a lot of joy. Do let me know what some of yours would be down in the comments. Although I can be a little bit slow to reply to comments sometimes, I do read all of them, and I always love hearing your favourites, so do let me know. But yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video.